Hello and welcome to Dude's Comic Reviews. I'm Jason and this is one weekly review video where I'll review the new big books that I've picked up this week. This week should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, it should be a shorter video. Only 5 books this week. Shouldn't take that long at all. So without further ado, let's get to those reviews. So first up this week we have 5 Ghosts, issue number 6, which is my pick of the week. This was the last book I read, but it was the book I enjoyed the most. This is the continuation. It was a mini-series originally, 5 Ghosts, 5-part mini-series, but it done so well they've made it into an ongoing. As with the mini-series, this is just such a lot of fun. It just has this real kind of swashbuckling kind of fun about it that you just kind of get swept up in. And it kind of has this kind of retro feel for me, as it kind of takes me back to the comics of my youth and what made me fall in love, not just with comics in general, but with reading. The way that they can just be such a great escapism and such fun, and this is what this book has just retained. And it's a shame there aren't more books like this, because I just absolutely adore this book. I was a bit concerned with it going into a monthly book. Would it change, because now they're telling, you know, a different type of story, but no, it's just the same fun that you always had. This issue sees Fabian travel to Japan to help the daughter of his sensei, who's in trouble. This leads to all kinds of fun. There's betrayals, there's battles with monsters, there's magical swords. It's just got everything, so much fun. The art, initially I wasn't too sure, but it really grew me as the book went on. And I understand that this issue is kind of like a one-shot, so it's a great place, I think, to jump in. You don't get to see or use all 5 ghosts, but you do kind of get a feel for what the book is going to be like. I'm just still really loving the book, and I give 5 Ghosts, issue number 6, not only my pick of the week, but I give it 5 stars. Next up we have X-Men Battle of the Atom, issue number 2, which is the final chapter of the Battle of the Atom story that we've been following for the last month, or last 2 months. And yeah, this was one I was a bit nervous about reading, as I mentioned in my whole video. But did it deliver? Well, let's get the negative out of the way first. There were parts of the story that didn't get answered for me. Like, you know, why were they all fighting? Because it seemed to be they all wanted to send the original X-Men back to the past. So I didn't understand why they were all fighting. The motivations of the Brotherhood was never explained. What would they avoid? What would they change by sending the original X-Men back in time? And how did blowing themselves and the past, future and present X-Men up with SHIELD missiles, how would that create the same kind of effect as sending the original X-Men back? I didn't understand it. So that lost a bit for me in the book. The art was a bit of a mixed bag. I thought Eastside Ribic at the beginning of the book was fantastic. It was awesome. Really great to see that his art and the panel choices were just brilliant. Then we get like it sort of switches, and I don't know if it's kind of like if it was a different artist, or if we had different inkers, or the people doing the finishes, but the lines are just really a lot thicker, and it just really glaringly different, and it sort of jars you out of the story, which I didn't like. But getting past those negative points, it was actually quite a good book. Plenty of action, plenty of great big fight scenes. There were repercussions at the end that we're going to see carried over into the other books, so it left you with this overall feeling when you put the book down of, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind maybe getting that book or that book to see what happens next. Which, you know, when you have a big event like that, that's the aim, to get you to try and go out and pick up all the books, keep picking up the books to see what happens next. And I think it did do, it, at least in me anyway, created that vibe that I did want to go and see those books. But for me, the major point and the bit that gets my geek out moment of the week was there's this one particular bit right at the end. I think it's like the 5th epilogue, and we have this one character that kind of decides, no, I'm not happy with what went down, and I'm moving. I'm moving on, I'm moving allegiances. And it's just a major moment. It's a major character, and it's going to have real repercussions throughout all the books because of what this character's role was and how they can really help where they're going. So yeah, that was really that really shocked me, and I think that really saved the book for me, because it was just a real oh my god moment. So that was really good. I think really ended the book on a high. Overall, I think this series, it's been good. I think there was a couple of things, like I mentioned, that didn't satisfactorily get answered. But other than that, I think that overall, I think there were more positives to this series than negatives. And to this issue, I give it my Geek Out Moment of the Week. And I also give X-Men Battle of the Atom issue number 2 4 stars. And next up we have Swamp Thing Annual issue number 2. This was for me the shock of the week. Well, not the shock, I think the surprise of the week. It was a book going into I was looking forward to, and I've got into Charles Soule's run on the book. For me, Scott Snyder's run was all about the characters kind of giving up his human body and the process of going through to become into that decision to become the Swamp Thing. That was the journey we went on with Snyder's run. So far, Soule's run seems to be much more about he's no longer human in a physical sense, and it's how he retains his humanity. Now he's this Swamp Thing, this monster, and how you know he doesn't turn into a monster, and he just keeps that humanity intact. And that seems to be much more what Soule is dealing with. This issue, it's Swamp Thing, the Green have another champion that they're kind of backing, the Cedar. So Swamp Thing has to learn to use his powers so that he can defeat the Cedar and stay the avatar of the Green, the champion of the Green. So, you know, we meet new characters like Lady Weed and Wolf, who kind of give our hero more of a sense of what he can do with his abilities now. And a lot of the lessons he has to learn are to let go of this viewpoint that he's human. He's not anymore. He's not a human, and that thinking of himself as a human is only creating limitations for himself. Really good story. Love the characters that we meet in this one. The links to the past are really interesting as well, and give a real sense of the history of of the Green and of their past champions, and that there's this kind of like legacy that has gone on of all these different champions throughout the years, and the history that the Green has with the rest of the things like what's it called, the Red, wasn't it, the life force for living creatures. And I really, it was just overall, it was really well presented. The art as well was fantastic. Really impressed with the art in the book. And like I say, it was just a real surprise I just came away from, and I just really enjoyed. I was like, wow. So yeah, I give Swamp Thing Annual number 2 5 stars. So next up we have the Superior Spider-Man issue number 20. Yep, issue number 20. This one, I think I went in with really high hopes for it, because I'd heard Dan Slott say that, oh, there's a lot of things that kick off in here that start where the book is going for the next year. And while I enjoyed the book, I think I'm going to enjoy it more when we get to the end and I kind of look back on it. I think that's where it started. At the start of the journey, it didn't blow me away. I'm interested in a lot of the stuff. I really enjoyed, once again, how Doc Ock as Peter Parker, you know, going to get his doctorate. He's got it all sussed out, and then there's this curveball that's kind of thrown, this twist in the plot, that suddenly he's like, oh my god, there's no way I cannot do this. There's no way I can get out of this. Which I really enjoyed. I like this impending doom that we've got in the book as we continue to see the downfall of Dr. Octopus continue to be built, which I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out. And the thing that makes it even better is that, like, in his arrogance, you know, Doc Ock ain't even aware of his world's beginning to fall down. I'm really looking forward to seeing the repercussions of his encounter with Black Cat in here. I think there are going to be some major repercussions there. All in all, like I say, it was a good book. Giuseppe Camuncoli on art, I think does a really top-notch job here. Yeah, you could kind of niggle Peter Parker looks a bit different to how he usually looks, but overall, I'm really impressed with his art. I felt the best that his art's looked, and I was really impressed. But all in all, it's another really fun issue. It just didn't really blow my socks off like I was expecting. So I give Superior Spider-Man issue number 20 4 stars. And finally this week we have Saga issue number 15. This issue as my cover of the week. I just really like these Saga covers, are just consistently really good. They always have a real striking colour on the background, and you know, two characters from the book on the cover. I think they do a really good job with their covers consistently. Inside the book is again really top notch. It ends on a fantastic cliffhanger and a real twist at the end. What was happening to the will, I was kind of half right, so I was kind of chuffed at myself there. But yeah, the cliffhanger right at the end is just whoa. And like I say, this week there were some fantastic cliffhangers and twists in all the books. So it was a really good week for that. The rest of the stories, your usual Saga goodness. I love how the characters interact. I love how much emotion Fiona Staples gets into her art, and how the characters can display so much emotion. There's some lighter moments in here as well that kind of make you chuckle. And also I really like seeing the new characters as they're kind of opening up the world and giving us a little bit more sense of the world in here that we've not seen yet. So yeah, all in all, another really good issue. I'm really loving this book, and I give Saga issue number 15 my cover of the week, and I also give it 5 stars.